Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Captivated series podcast. I'm at episode 10 of the Captivated series podcast, and I am extremely happy as well as a little nervous to be interviewing a personality like Shruti Dandekar. She is, in a way, my mentor. And the quilt that you see behind me is done with her during her portrait making class. I started as a student, and then she held my hand and made me a teacher, and so I teach making portrait quilts. So in a way she is a big factor in my quilting journey. So welcome to the episode, Shruti. Thank you so much for giving us the time. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, and I'm so happy to be chatting with you today, Visakha, because I've seen you grow since where we were when you made that quilt to where
Yeah.
you are now. I follow you, like not in a stalking kind of way, but I do follow you and your journey, and super, super, super proud of you.
Thank you so much. And people like you have inspired me. So I'm not just a quilter now. I have also migrated to doing a little bit of podcasting where I'm interviewing people who are interesting for my own purpose. Like I would love to hear from them, and I'm sure the audience follows behind me. So
Podcasting was a dream that I never got to doing actually. It was something that I had wanted to do. So I'm like watching your podcast and reliving all of that a lot.
Okay. Okay. So one of the inspirations for the podcast was also Dipti Raut. She's the one who started the Quilting Stories magazine, and she writes a lot about quilters. So I thought, why not give a face to each of these quilter and let people see who are these people, actually doing good work. So that's one of the reasons for starting the podcast, and I'm glad we have you here today.
Thank you. It's a
So
pleasure to be, and I feel like in India, this is so much required because the US has the AQS
yeah.
podcast, they have Pat Sloan, they have a lot of people, but India doesn't have. So I'm really proud of Dipti for starting the magazine
Yes.
and keeping with it because consistency is so difficult,
Mm,
and I'm so
yes.
proud of you also for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you, Shruti. So let's begin with giving you a title that I'm captivated by Shruti Dandekar 2.0. So I say 2.0 because I have seen you in the quilting industry throughout my quilting journey, and then you moved out of the quilting scenario and you shifted track. So could you tell us a little bit about what happened between then and now?
Yeah, sure. So, quilting came to me at a time when I required it the most. A lot of people don't know about this, but when I took a sabbatical from my architectural work, I was diagnosed with chikungunya at that time. I fell sick, and it was a very painful journey. But at that same time, I haven't shared this till recently. I was also going through postpartum depression, which was
Okay.
not diagnosed for over 2 years. And quilting came to me at that time, and I actually found it very therapeutic. A lot of the repetitive action, learning something new, making something with my own hands was something that brought me out of that depression. It helped me heal. And my plan was always, okay, I'll do this for a couple of years and I'll go back to architecture. And then that never happened. And by the time I had started making portrait quilts, and I fell in love with that even more. And that journey just took off from there. I never expected it to become something as big as it was. So I
Okay.
still remember in 2013 when Modern Quilt Guild had their first quilt con. I was watching the pictures. I was following a few of my friends also had gone to the convention, and I was like, I want to be there. And in a way, I just manifested it because in 2015 I went there, in 2017, 19, and 20 I went there. So it was a beautiful journey of 6 years being a part of the Modern Quilt Guild, and then eventually becoming a member of the board of directors also, and working as crew on QuiltCon, and all of that was just awesome. And it
Wow.
brought in so many people into my life that I absolutely loved. People were like the best part of quilting, I feel
Yeah.
for me. And
Yeah.
then when I turned 40, I started thinking, how can I give back to the society? I don't know what happens when you cross that curve, but something in me, wanted to do something more with my life.
Hmm.
And I had also started feeling I started feeling as if I was trying to monetize every idea that came to me in quilts. So, and the joy of quilting had started seeping away because of that monetization,
Yeah,
going running behind monetization. What workshop next? What can I do next? What else can I teach? What else can I make and sell? So, all
yeah,
of this was like taking away the joy from it. And that's when I decided ki, nahi, I don't want to do this anymore because I was doing it for the joy of it. I wasn't doing
yes.
it for the money. I wasn't doing it for the fame. I wasn't doing it for anything else. I was just doing it because I loved to quilt. And
Hmm.
then when it started feeling like a chore, I said I need to step back. And
Hmm.
that's when I decided to stop making quilts professionally. So I still make quilts, but I make
Hmm.
them for myself. I do have my sewing machine right behind me over here,
Okay.
and the other one is over there. But I only quilt for myself. I do a lot more hand quilting now
Hmm.
than I used to make, and I don't make portraits anymore. Nothing commercial. Like I said, I just do it for the joy of it now. So
Okay.
that was where my Shruti 2.0 started.
Oh,
Then there
okay.
has been a Shruti 2.1 also. So
I
it has evolved, but the basic decision came from this because I felt that somewhere the purpose of why I was doing that started getting lost
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
commercial aspect of it. And that's when I decided, okay, I don't want to do it as a profession anymore.
Okay, yeah, because I was just getting goosebumps when you were telling me about QuiltCon and being there and being a crew. I think all quilters dream to be there, and you were there, and you were a part of that entire scenario. So it actually gave me goosebumps. And yeah, what you're saying, I completely understand. Even I think I'm getting into that zone where I feel. It's okay if I don't get any money out of quilting, but spreading the knowledge or talking more about it is giving me a sense of satisfaction than actually working for clients.
Right.
Yeah, so I understand what you say.
Yeah.
Please tell us then, what did you do after that? I mean,
So pandemic also came around the same time.
yeah, yeah,
And that actually forced me to get into an industry of which I had no knowledge of. So I started as a teacher on an edtech platform, a very well-known edtech platform. I am not going to take the names, but I
okay,
started as a teacher over there, and I taught coding to first and second grade kids. And
okay.
I just had such a wonderful time.
Hmm,
And then I started, for the first time in my life, I was in this corporate job where
okay,
I had a salary, and I had never worked for anyone since 2007,
okay,
and this was in 2020. So
okay.
it was very new to me,
Hmm,
and but
hmm,
then I had a very clear purpose ki nahi, if I'm doing this, I want to grow,
hmm.
as a person, and I need to learn new skills, and that was a part of it. So I after a year with that edtech, I got another opportunity which was much more aligned to what I wanted to do, and I became a soft skill or human skills trainer at
Hmm.
another edtech that taught digital marketing. So
Okay.
now my audience suddenly became these, early 20s, late
Uh-huh.
teens people.
Hmm.
And surprisingly, that's an audience I'd never worked with before.
Okay.
I'd worked with kids, I'd worked with older people as a
Hmm.
quilting instructor, or
Teacher,
even as
yes.
an architect, I'd worked with older people who built their homes.
Huh.
But I've never worked with these freshers and, especially students who came from tier two and tier three cities, because
Mm-hmm.
the tech had courses which were online and
Oh,
short courses with a guarantee, placement guarantee, or else money back kind of a thing. So
acha.
that is what brought a lot of tier two and tier three city students into it.
Hmm.
And my interactions with them were just wonderful. And that again gave me a lot of space to grow. I learned so much about the edtech and the L&D industry. And then recently, like 2 months back, I joined another company, and there I'm working as an L&D manager at
Okay,
the
so when you say L&D, it is learning and development.
yes, learning and development.
Okay, and this time your students are of what age category?
That's a huge range of age because
Okay,
I work as an internal L&D manager for a company with staff of about 150 plus people,
okay.
and we are growing. So there will be more people joining in the recent future, and so it's a wonderful opportunity. Again, I feel like I'm getting paid to do things that I love to do, learning new things and teaching people and designing
Yes.
IDPs for people. So it's like a whole new thing for me.
Yeah, and teaching is natural to you because I have attended your class. And when you say, of course, when I heard about portrait or anybody, even people whom I teach, when they hear portrait, they kind of think, oh God, it's like really very difficult. I'm not going to be able to achieve it. But with the smoothness and ease that you took us through the process, itself shows your love for teaching. So I can understand you being a teacher or an educator.
My mom is a teacher. I think I get it from her.
Okay.
And it continues because my mother-in-law was also a teacher. She retired. So both my moms are teachers. And
Okay.
that is where it comes from, the love, like the love for teaching, actually.
Teaching.
The love
Yeah.
for sharing knowledge is what I believe it is. More
Yeah.
than teaching, I feel like the more you share what you know with others, the more you
Hmm.
learn and the more you grow in that
Hmm.
process. So even
Yeah.
as a teacher, I had this obstacle, when I was trying to learn from people, I observed that people didn't teach wholeheartedly a lot of times. They used
Yeah.
to hold back certain things.
Yeah.
And that is when I decided that if I become a quilting teacher, I'm going to teach everything that I have.
Yeah.
People used to ask me, aren't you creating competition for yourself by teaching
I think
people?
I asked you one similar question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people asked me that, but my focus was always never on like, earning money, because if that was
Hmm.
the focus, I would have done that. But
Yeah.
my focus was always on sharing the knowledge, making more and more people interested in it, making it easy for other people so that more people take it up. That was
Yeah.
the goal. And I feel that I did justice to my goal.
Yes. Yes.
That is what I want to continue doing. Like whatever people find difficult, I want to go in and like make it super easy for them to learn.
Yeah, yeah, I second that because I remember during the workshop you had said it portrait the technique that I am teaching you is the fastest and easiest way to make a portrait, and it is so true. You have
Yeah.
made it so easy for us to create new portraits. So yeah, that's the ease that you come
I
with.
remember when I realized that I could use this technique to make portraits. I had just finished making a portrait quilt, which took me like 3 months to make. And then I realized it could be so much easier. But then I stopped. I was in the quilting industry, I think, just for 3 years by that time. I
Mm-hmm.
had never touched a sewing machine before I came into the quilting industry. So I was like, why hasn't anyone else tried it? If it was so easy, somebody would have thought about it. Somebody would have made a quilt using that technique. And then I said, कि ठीक है ना, नहीं किसी ने किया, but I should try it. I should
Ah,
at least try, and then I can. If it doesn't work out, nobody needs to know. That was my motto. I never
yeah.
shared things that didn't work out. So I was like, nobody needs to know if it doesn't work out. But if does work out, then it's going to be huge. That is
Yes.
what I had in mind. And it is going to open doors for so many people, because
Yeah.
I have seen people not venture into art quilts thinking ki I'm not an artist.
Hmm.
But everything that you do is art. It does, like,
Hmm.
even if you're making a quilt for the bed or you're making
Hmm.
a table runner, it is art at the end of the day. A
So
dish
true.
that you cook in the kitchen is also art at the end of the day. Your garden is an art. Your home is an art.
Yeah, so true.
You don't have to be an artist. Everyone is an artist.
Hmm.
So it's just how you express it. And that is the fear that I wanted to take out of making art quilts, and
Yeah.
portraits was like the best way to get that fear out. Then you become fearless. Once you
Yeah.
can reproduce a face, you start thinking
Yes.
yourself as an artist, and then you're open to experimentation.
100%. And I am a living example of that. It has exactly worked out in the same way for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming to my, title. The title of today's podcast is Captivated by Shruti Dandekar, who is teaching the skill to become more and more you.
Yeah.
So the reason I kept the title this way is because when I was going through your Facebook post, I read a quote saying that the thing about meditation is to become more and more you. It was by a person called David Lynch. So I want to know from you, what does this statement mean?
Yeah. So basically, you know, meditation has been a huge part of my journey because after the pandemic was over and after I decided to, change my life altogether, get into this corporate job and
Hmm,
everything, I felt like something was missing. That grounding was missing,
hmm,
which
hmm.
quilting gave me. And for a while, I was like not quilting at all. And I went through this journey of self discovery during that time. Like I said, I turned 40 and I
40,
had
yeah. Yes,
is
yes,
a
it
milestone.
happens.
Nothing changes. I'll tell you, except the power of your glasses, nothing
Hmm,
changes at 40. And that is the only thing that changed for me. But internally, I was, spending a lot of time processing stuff. And
hmm.
I didn't know what to do with that. I had a lot of time on hand, a lot more time than I had. Because when you are working for somebody else, 10 to 5 is what you give to that person. And then you normally don't think about it. When you're
Yeah,
something by yourself, it's going on 24/7. So I had
true.
a lot of empty space in my head. And that's when I started, I wanted to meditate because, yes, everyone tells you that this is the best way to reinvent yourself. And meditation is like very glamorous from outside. When you're
Yeah,
not a meditator, you feel like yeah, this person can sit and meditate for 30 minutes and I cannot sit still for 2 minutes. That's
so
where it starts. And so you have that FOMO and then you try to achieve that. But the problem with me was I cannot sit still. And now I can, but I couldn't
yes.
sit still at all. And I realized that I needed an anchor
Hmm,
to hold my attention, and that anchor had to be something that won't take away my attention, because the
hmm.
whole idea of meditation is to not think about things. It's
Yeah,
not like you don't have any thoughts, you are going to have thoughts, but it's like you're sitting by the highway and
hmm.
cars are passing by. Okay, so you don't stop the cars, you just let them pass by. You don't have to get into a car.
Okay,
You don't
beautiful.
stop a car and you don't get into it. You just let them pass by. And you
Yeah.
just observe and notice, ki, okay, that's a car, that's a red car,
Oh,
that's a new car, that's an old
yeah.
car. So you just observe and let go. Don't involve in that. That's the whole
Hmm.
of meditation. So that is when I started using something that I was very familiar with so that it doesn't take away my attention. So I started using stitching,
Hmm.
the way to anchor my attention. And then I used to observe the thoughts that came, and I just, that is how I got into meditation, and I started processing my thoughts, connecting with my authentic self. And I was able to finally quiet the noises that were there. Like there were a
And
lot of questions in my mind, ki Shruti, you're leaving something that you are very successful at. People know
yeah,
you. If you
yeah.
go away from here and you want to come back after a few
Hmm.
years, your place will already be taken by somebody else. So you'll have to start all over again. How are you going to do that? I was doubting myself whether I'm taking the right decision or not. And somewhere I also felt like, am I doing this for the money? Like, now am I doing it for the money? मैं
Hmm.
job कर रही हूँ, I'm not following my passion. But then it was a long journey of self discovery.
Discovery, yes.
That a lot of it came through meditation. And
Okay.
then in 2022, I moved to Pune with my son because he was preparing for IIT JEE. And that is actually when I started my first YouTube channel also. So then it was just the two of us. I went from a joint family to just two of
Just
us
to,
living. And yeah, my family would visit me, but that was it, like weekends
yeah.
and all. But day to day, I had to take up a lot of responsibilities. But at the same time, I had a lot less responsibilities also because I
Yeah.
only had to take care of me and my son. That's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that also gave me a lot of time to think about, ki, okay, where do I want to go from here? And
Hmm.
I think that is where I actually found a lot of answers. And that's when I graduated from stitch meditation to actually starting meditating.
Okay.
Yeah, and then somewhere in 2023, I discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza. I discovered him because of a need that I had. So my mom went through a lot of medical issues in 2023, and I was looking for ways in which I could help her heal because she's
Okay.
gone through a lot of medical trauma, including a double amputation of both her legs.
Okay.
So to deal with that emotionally, I wanted to
Hmm.
help her, and that's where when I found Dr. Joe Dispenza. And then I started looking at his meditations. And then because they were all in English and my mom is not very comfortable with English, I thought, "Ki, okay, I will listen to them. I'll translate it for her and then I'll give it to her." And that's how my journey with actual meditation started. And when I started, the shortest meditation that Dr. Joe had was like 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
And I was like, how can I even sit for 25 minutes? But I don't know what is it about him, but he just
Hmm.
makes it so simple to do that. And now I can meditate for 90 minutes also.
Oh my God. So these
Yeah.
are guided meditations, is it, or you
Yes.
just sit still?
Guided meditations.
Guided
Yeah.
meditations. Okay. So going a little back to, your slow stitching process, what was it that you were actually doing? Like you were picking up a piece of cloth. Were you thinking about the design that you're going to do, or was it just random? Was it, was there a process in that, or it was just straight lines to focus on each stitch? What
Yeah.
was it?
So it started as, I never started it with the intention that I'll use this for slow stitching or I'll use this for meditation. I had a very nice denim jacket which fit me really well, and it was a distressed denim jacket. And I thought, that a few hand stitches would make it even better. So that is where I started. And when I was stitching, so it was just straight line stitching in different colors. And I also tried a few like chain stitching and some other stitches.
Acha.
And while I was doing that, I realized that my thoughts, I'm feeling a lot more calmer when I spend like 10-15 minutes with that jacket.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that is how it started. So earlier my focus was just to make that jacket beautiful.
Look nice. Yeah.
And gradually, as the jacket came to life, I realized it was doing much more than just look good.
Mm,
It was
yeah.
making me feel better. And then I started, I didn't even have my sewing supplies in Pune at that time. So I went to the market, I still remember, and I am a person who was using Orifil thread and all
Yeah. Yeah.
designer fabric, and I went and I bought like normal fabric, normal thread, normal needles, and I came back and I started just using it. Whatever I found my hands on, I started using that, and that is where I started. Later on, yes, I did go to Bani, to Manisha, bought fabric from her. I ordered fabric from Tina. Then I ordered thread from Tina, a lot of embroidery thread. So now I have all the stuff that I.
Supplies. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I started, it was just like I was focusing on the process. And
Hmm.
then I realized, ki, okay, I don't focus on the design. I'll just do straight line stitches.
Hmm.
And I like took the piece when I started and decided, ki, okay, this is the area that I want to fill with kantha like stitches.
Okay.
That's it. So while I was actually stitching, my entire focus was on the needle, and I didn't do like multiple stitches at a time. It was like
Okay.
take the
One at a
needle, take
time.
it down, take it up, take it down, and the entire focus was on the movement of the needle and using all my five senses as much as I can to focus there. So I
Oh.
used to not just see it, but feel. To see and feel
Hmm.
we do
Hmm. Hmm.
But I used to also listen to the sound that it made. You know, the needle makes a sound when it goes through the
Oh
fabric
my
and the
God.
pattern. So there is a small tuck sound that
Yeah.
comes, needle goes in. So that was what I was listening to. Then I was trying to, smell it at the same time. Taste to nahi kiya, but the other senses, of course. So I started realizing that the more I involve all my senses over there, the better results I get.
Okay.
Then I started using affirmations while stitching, and that also helped me.
Okay.
So,
So were you writing them down or just
so
thinking about it?
I was
Why?
saying them aloud or sometimes in my mind while I was stitching. So with every thread, I was, repeating an affirmation.
So could
And
you give us an example? Maybe not very personal, but
yeah,
maybe let's a general affirmation which you
yeah,
were
yeah.
thinking of.
I always think of affirmations as, sometimes you have these affirmations, people tell you to say, I'm a money magnet. But when you don't have money coming to you, you're not
Yeah.
going to believe it, right? So,
Yeah.
I always focused on affirmations that I could believe easily. More and more opportunities are coming my way.
Hmm.
I always find joy in little things in life.
Hmm.
So these are the affirmations that I started with. So
Hmm.
they are easily believable. That is the one thing that I've always kept doing. Ki whatever affirmations I use, I always make sure that they should be as believable as possible,
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
close, but they should be very hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that gives you hope, and then that makes you look forward to what you want to do in the next phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every day, how much time would you, or is it every day or in a week, a few times? What
I
was your
used to
schedule
do
for
it every
this?
day. I used to do it every day. And I used to spend as much time as I had. So, usually 15 minutes in the morning.
Hmm.
And then sometimes even at night, I used to, because I am not a TV person. I'm not very fond of watching TV. So, rather than watch TV, I would, wind down by stitching in the
Close
evening.
stitching. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my favorite way of spending time. So it was usually 15 minutes in the morning and then another 15-20 minutes in the night.
Hmm.
And sometimes, like, if I wanted to create something very specific, then I
Hmm.
used to like work on it till I finished it. Like, there was this shirt that I was embroidering. I was actually making it for my husband.
Hmm.
So it was a white linen shirt with some embroidery here on the shoulder
Acha.
and embroidery down the front, the
Okay.
button
The
line.
button line.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then after a wash, it shrunk. So I gave it to my friend's daughter and she uses it now. But
Acha.
that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Okay, like, if I was working on something, then I used to work till I was happy with it.
Hmm.
And if not, then it would be just a general, combining a few colors and just using those colors to just stitch.
Okay. So for how long? I mean, let's say, how long in terms of months or a year, or are you still doing it?
I don't use stitching for meditation anymore. I do a lot of hand stitching, but that is for
Hmm.
the joy of stitching now. I don't
Okay.
need it to meditate anymore. So I just
Okay.
use it to wind down. I still use it to wind down, especially a lot of part of my work is to learn something. So a lot of
Hmm.
times I'm watching videos
Hmm.
or I'm listening to podcasts, and that is work
Yeah.
related.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's when I bring in a little bit of stitching and I just sit at stitch. But it's more like now I have a purpose for it. So I'm planning on like having a series of small quilts framed
Hmm.
in my staircase. So that's my
Oh.
goal. So there is thought behind the design now, which was not there earlier.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
but it took me around 6 to 7 months to actually start seeing the effects of it,
Hmm.
the results from my meditation. So,
Okay.
around 6 to 8 months later, and especially during the difficult time of supporting my mom through her
Hmm.
treatment, I found that me being calm
Hmm.
helped a lot more.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
because my father and my brother and me, all three of us were like under a lot of stress, and at that time, I feel that having this release of emotions in a way helped me
Yeah.
stay much more calmer and be there for all three of them, not just for my mom.
Yeah, yeah. So you were able to actually pull out the meditation from stitch meditation and purify it to the level of exclusive meditation.
Yes, I
Yeah,
was.
so that's a big achievement actually. It takes a lot of courage and time and
Yeah.
devotion
I
to get to
something
that
I
stage.
had a lot of during that time. So, like I said, okay, my brain was free for a lot
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I could do a lot more things.
Okay. So your unit Transform 365, was it related to this or was it something different from this?
It was completely different. So
Okay.
um, after one of the reasons for my mom's medical issues was that she had diabetes. So
Acha.
my mom and my dad, both of them have diabetes. And during my mom's illness, I was also diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And that's
Acha.
when alarm bells went off, and I felt like I needed to, take things in my hand and do a better job with my
Mhm.
health. And I
Yeah.
started prioritizing my health. I started taking care of myself. I started my diabetes medications. I started exercising. I started watching what I eat. And I realized that bringing this discipline into my life
Mm. Yeah.
has helped me a lot, change myself. So now I'm much different as a person than I
Mm.
was when I was quilting. It was much more organic. Like every morning I used to think, do I want to go and quilt today? No, then I want to go. Now
Mm.
I don't do that. I have a very structured approach to my days. I get up at a set time, I go to bed at a set time. I have a routine that I follow. It's a
Okay.
lot more disciplined, and that
Yeah.
discipline came from that desire to transform. So I lost around 20 kgs
Yeah.
during that 1 year, and it was intentional, of course. It was not just because of the stress. Stress played a part, diabetes played a part. So diabetes, I had a side effect of a diabetes medication wherein I lost appetite.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I decided, कि, okay, I'll use it as an opportunity and I'll start dieting. Because if I don't have an appetite, I can just take that thing as an opportunity and I can start dieting, portion control. And that is how I lost like 20 plus kgs.
Yeah, we have seen those marvelous transformation photographs on your Facebook and Instagram, and it's really, really inspiring. You really look very, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah.
During that time, I realized that it's not just about, losing weight or being
Mm,
healthy. It's about intentionally making changes in life. And
yeah.
what people do is they start with a lot of hype, and then, they have really big goals, but they don't think it through. I
Mm,
always say that you always overestimate what you can do in a day and you underestimate what you can do in a year.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that needs a very structured approach. And
Mm,
being a soft skill trainer for almost 3 years, I helped a lot of students set career goals and then go about achieving those goals in a very
mm,
structured manner. And that actually helped me structure my own goal setting. And then I also did a certification from a US based, I think it was Transformation Academy. So I
okay.
got certified as a goal success coach. And
Okay,
that
goal
was because
success
I
coach.
wanted to achieve my own goals. And then
Mm,
one thing to another, I did a mindfulness coach certification from Happitude. And it was a 6 week long course, and it was a beautiful course. So that I did right at the beginning when I started stitch meditating. That is when I did the mindfulness coaching course. And
okay.
all of that came together, and I started reading again after a very long time.
Mm,
So I was reading, but I was reading a lot of fiction. And
okay.
then suddenly, when I was in Pune, I joined a book club and I got out of my
Acha.
comfort zone. I still remember the book that got me out of my comfort zone. It was Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. And it was a book that I would not have chosen for
Okay.
myself. And I was like, this is something new, and I should get out of my comfort zone and read books that I would not normally read.
Read.
And so
Yeah.
I ordered like whole bunch of books on Amazon. That's how you do it, right? When
Yeah,
you want.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now I have changed that approach also. I
Okay.
don't randomly order books. I listen to a summary of the book.
Hmm.
Then I decide whether I want to go deeper into that topic. And
Hmm.
if I do, then I buy the Kindle version of it first.
Acha. Okay.
Then I read it on my Kindle. And if I love that book, I'll buy a physical book. So
Hmm.
every book that is there on my bookshelf
Okay.
has been curated and chosen and has been given that space over there, कि नहीं, this is precious for me. So
Yeah.
that is how my process has evolved. I never looked at reading in that way. I used to go to a
Hmm.
store, I used to pick up any books that I wanted. I used to come back, read them, not read them,
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
Every book that is there on my shelf, I've read it cover to cover.
Wow. So I'm seeing a lot of mindfulness in that also. So
Yeah.
how the mindfulness influences starts, it's like it starts going into every aspect of your life.
Yes.
So this is a beautiful
Making
example.
conscious decisions about everything and not just doing it because you're doing it, not
Yeah.
getting like I do get carried away also,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes. Yes.
I'm to get carried away. So, like
Yeah.
a few weeks back, I went to Delhi for a friend's wedding, and I knew that all my routines, all whatever I do is going to be thrown out of the window. And I just decided that I'm here to enjoy, and that's
Yeah.
all that I have to do.
Yeah. That's also very important actually, having cheat days.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sundays are cheat days for me. I don't set an alarm on Sundays. I have
Okay.
no routine on Sundays. And now that I'm an empty nester, I have
Hmm.
a lot less responsibilities also. I live with my in-laws. My
Oh.
mother-in-law still takes care of the cooking part of it. We have a cook, but she deals with the cook and everything. So I
Acha.
don't have to deal with the cooking part of it.
Okay.
And so I am left to just managing stuff for me and my husband. That's it. And we are
Hmm.
fed by my in-laws. So I don't have to worry about that. So Sundays are like very relaxing. I also started working with my husband. Like he is a theater person.
Oh,
And
okay.
uh, I never was a part of that part of his life, but now I am actively involved with his theater group.
Oh.
And I'm like going on tours with him whenever he has to go and overall enjoying something new. And
Yes.
again, making it intentional, ki that is a common thing that both of us have started enjoying. And
Yes.
getting used to being an empty nester also means that you start sharing some,
Yeah.
yes, which we never did before.
Yes, I completely understand. So, given an opportunity, what would you like to do with theater? Would you like to be acting, or would you like to be directing or writing a script? I mean, just a random question. What would
Yeah,
you
good
do?
question. I have only so far worked on the backstage. So
Hmm.
I've been a support person till now, but I am working on a script for a
Oh,
Marathi
okay.
play. I hope to finish it in time so that we can, present it at the state competition that we have at the end of the
Hmm.
year. But I'm not forcing myself to do it. I want
Okay.
it to come organically. There are topics from books that I have read
Hmm.
that are very close to my heart, even some current issues that I would like to, talk about in my scripts if I write them. But there is a script that I'm working on, and I would like to. My husband is very insistent on on the fact that I should try to act. I'm not that confident about my acting skills, but he is very
Okay.
confident that I'll be able to do a good job. I don't know what motivates him to say that when he has no experience of my acting in any way. But he's very confident about that. So someday I might even do that.
Yeah, yeah,
He's trying everything.
yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But you can always try it once, and it always helps.
Yeah, yeah, and why not? And I think post
Yeah.
40, you automatically get courage from the
Yeah,
universe to,
you become
okay, let
fearless.
the world, yeah, let the world laugh at you. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
because I'm not self-conscious anymore. I wear what I want to wear. I eat what I want to eat. Like I drink coffee without sugar. I started drinking coffee with I was a tea person. So
Hmm.
when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I started drinking tea without sugar, which I didn't like. So then I switched
Okay.
to coffee without sugar. And now, even though I have tea and I have tea with sugar, now my sugar levels are in control and I have tea
Hmm.
with sugar every morning, but I still like coffee without sugar. So I
Acha.
went to a restaurant, I ordered coffee without sugar, and then
Hmm.
at the end of the meal, they'll give you that mukhwas
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sugar.
Soft. Yeah.
Which
Sugar. Oh, sugar cubes. Yeah.
yeah. So I just took a couple of sugar cubes and them in my mouth. The waiter was so looking at me with a huge question mark that this lady just ordered coffee without sugar, and
But it's
now
having.
unapologetic about things. This is
Yeah.
how I am. This is what I like, and I don't think I owe anyone an explanation anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's a, as you progress to even accept this is a huge thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's not easy in the beginning because I
No,
was
no,
a very
no.
self-conscious person.
Yeah, yeah.
I I always cared about what others think about me. I was
Mm,
a people pleaser,
yeah.
big people pleaser. So that journey from there to where I am right now is like a long journey that I finished in 3 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's another common thing between you and me. Even I was a people pleaser. I would say yes to everything. I couldn't say no to anybody. But I think post 40, what you're saying is settled in me also now. And
Yeah.
I do know how to say no.
Yes, that's a huge thing to do, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I find it a bit difficult, I still get butterflies in my stomach when I say no
Hmm,
to somebody,
hmm,
especially when I know that I have the time to do it,
hmm,
but I don't want to do it. And that's the
hmm.
reason I'm saying no. But still, I do say no a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, yeah.
And that has been liberating, to be very honest. And I
Yes.
don't give reason anymore. No is a full sentence.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
nice to hear that. So coming to my next question, out of curiosity with what I have seen, I remember when you came for the portrait class, at the end of the portrait class, you had a 1 hour talk on what to do during an exhibition, if you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
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 So I attended that class of yours because anyways I was there, and the points that you said were so important now when I'm living that life. I remember you saying eat well and go for an exhibition, don't go empty stomach, carry a paracetamol. So when I think about it, like when I came home, I thought she so easily put all these real life situations together, and she also used it as an entrepreneurial unit. So my next question to you is, I have seen you convert simple ideas into commercial ideas. How does that come to you? I mean, how do you do that?
I think it comes to me because I come from a business family.
Acha.
I've seen my uncle has a shop. So
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him sell stuff, you know. So I think my first venture as an entrepreneur, you could say, was when I was in eighth grade. So
Oh, eighth grade. Okay.
I made Diwali lanterns and I sold them in my uncle's shop. So I did not invest in the raw material because that was available in my uncle's shop. So I took it from him and I kept the Diwali lanterns for sale in his shop only. And then because I was his niece, he would sell those a lot more than the other ones. So it
Okay.
worked out well for me, and that comes naturally when you come from a household, you know, which is brewing with ideas. None of
Mm-hmm.
the people, like my family members, ever work for somebody else. None of them. And
Okay.
then after marriage, I came into a family that is also a business family. So my mother-in-law was the only person who had a job.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband never worked for anyone else except the family business, and neither did my father-in-law or my
Acha.
brother-in-law. So I think that is where it comes from, you know, and just being able to identify what people need.
Yeah, the market demand. Yes.
Yes. Because I have seen when I went to these exhibitions, I used to be in the beginning, I was not prepared. But gradually, as I did like multiple, I did 10, I did 15 exhibitions. With that experience, you learn a few things.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I also saw a lot of people, I also saw a lot of people not applying what they have learned.
Hmm.
So simple things like make sure that you speak to the next person to you. Because if you need a bathroom break, that person is the one who's going to actually be taking care
Cover
of
up
you
for you.
all
Yeah.
till you come back. So it's
Yeah.
very essential that you actually, be friends with them if possible.
Yeah, that's what, and I think I even saw in your Facebook page, there was a short course on designing a vision board.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a simple idea, but converting it to a commercial idea was
Yeah.
simple but yet effective. So I thought it was brilliant.
I'm actually working on something else right now, which
Okay.
again is an idea, again commercializing it. But I don't want to do it on a commercial basis. I'm just going to, do it just like that. So it's like vision board is very two-dimensional.
Hmm.
You need more now. And with the way we consume content, earlier, Instagram used to be filled with pictures. Now
Yeah.
it's filled with videos.
Hmm.
I feel that you connect a lot more to a video than
Hmm.
picture.
Hmm.
So, uh, and this is again a concept that I learned from Joe Dispenza called mind movie.
Okay,
So,
mind movie. Acha.
mind movie. So it is a video vision board. So whatever are your goals,
Video. Okay, you convert it to a
process
video.
is same. The process is same.
Huh.
That whatever your goals are, let us say you want to travel, find
Hmm.
videos of the destination that you want to travel to. Compile them together, short five
Yeah.
second, 10-second videos and create like a 2-minute video out of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Add some background music to it. Like you
Hmm.
would create a reel,
Really?
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then watch that every morning.
Yeah.
It helps you visualize a lot better.
Yeah.
Visualization works a lot better when you have all your five senses. So I
Hmm.
do visualization exercise where I start by imagining that I'm standing in white space. So there is
Acha.
nothing, no floor, no walls, nothing. It's just completely white. And then first I add things that I can see.
Hmm.
So let us say I'm visualizing my YouTube channel doing well.
Hmm.
So then I'll start adding stuff to that visualization. So I'll add my laptop with my dashboard,
Hmm.
and then I'll look at like how many subscribers, how many hours, or something, whatever metrics. So then I see it. Then I'll add sound to it.
Hmm.
Okay, what am I hearing? Then I'll start adding smells to it. Okay, maybe I'm drinking coffee while I'm
Coffee.
doing that.
Okay.
I can smell and I can taste the coffee. Then
Hmm.
in the end, I'll touch everything around me.
Hmm.
So when you involve your five senses into anything, it feels a lot more real than if you were to just sit, close your eyes, and imagine. So what
Yeah.
would I imagine? I would imagine a dashboard with numbers on it. I cannot connect to that, but I can
Yes.
connect to the image of myself sitting in front of my computer, sipping coffee, and looking at those numbers. I'm a lot
Hmm.
more invested in it then.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And I feel that that is when it works even better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it also grounds you to your future reality instead of just seeing it like you said it in
Yes.
2D.
Yeah.
Doing it in that form is going to
Yes.
ground you better. Yeah.
So Joe
Oh.
Dispenza always says this one thing कि a sports person or an actor will always rehearse what they are doing,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? So does it matter if Virat Kohli swings his bat multiple times trying to think, okay, if this is a ball, how will I hit it? He's practicing so that
Hmm.
when that ball comes, he's ready for it.
Yeah.
Visualization is something very similar. You
Hmm.
imagine your goals, you have achieved them so that when that actually happens, you're ready for it.
Hmm. So true. Sometimes you don't want, like, you're so taken aback that you let that moment go because
Yes,
you
and then
try to process it.
you cannot see the opportunities also. Like you say you
Yeah.
want to grow as a quilter, but then if there is an opportunity that comes your way, which is slightly larger and outside your comfort zone, you
Hmm.
won't take it up
Hmm. Hmm.
because you don't feel confident.
Yeah. So true.
So if you imagine yourself having done that already, you feel like, okay, I've done that, I can do this. So that confidence comes in. Rather than the woo woo part, it's a lot more about being prepared, being ready for it, and
Hmm.
just being comfortable with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Getting out of your comfort zone. You cannot, if you don't know how to swim, it's going to be really difficult to just jump off a cliff into water.
Yeah.
But if you start visualizing jumping into a swimming pool multiple times
Hmm.
and you do it for a period of, let us say, 3 months, and you not just imagine, you
Feel.
experience it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, water is entering my nose and everything. You're more prepared for it, and then you'll be less fearful when you actually have to jump into water.
Yeah. So, did you use all this while you were making the magnanimous Shivaji Rajya quilt? Was
No,
it
I
there
wish
at
I
that
had
time?
done that. I wish I knew about it. I didn't get into meditation till after I stopped quilting.
Oh,
The
okay.
Shivaji Abhishek quilt was something like a dream project for me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a culmination. I feel like yes, that is where I should stop
Yeah. Your grand
because
performance. Yes.
it was like the showstopper of my quilting journey. So that is where I decided I put everything, whatever quilting gave me, I put everything into it, including the
Hmm.
money, the fabric, the skill, everything.
Yeah.
That is where it all went.
Okay. So I was thinking that maybe while working on that project, you had used these help or mindsets to
I
actually
wish I
complete
did.
that project.
I feel like I would have done a really better job of it, the process. Because towards the end, I was working more than 17, 18 hours a day when I was finishing that. Because I still remember we had zeroed in on January India Quilt Festival
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
date when the quilt is going to be displayed. And 16th January was the date that was fixed for unveiling the quilt in Sangli. So
Acha.
the end date was fixed. And I still remember November second week, the quilt was only one third done. And I had a trip to Ahmedabad after that. In the first week of December, I was in Ahmedabad and for an entire week. And I came
Mhm.
back, and my son was sick at that time, and he was diagnosed with dengue,
Oh
so
my
I
God.
couldn't go to my studio, so I brought the tables upstairs into his room, and I actually worked from his room then for. And I remember I was working like 17, 18 hours every day towards the end of it. My routine was insane. I
Mhm.
used to get up at 1:30 in the night, and I used to start working at 1:30. And then I worked till around 6, 6:30. That's when I had to wake up my son and then send
Okay.
him to school. And then I used to again work for a while
Get
till
back.
time came for my husband to get ready and go to the shop and have breakfast with him. Then he left. I used to work a little more till 11, and then I used to take a break at 11 o'clock.
Hmm.
Then I used to take a nap till 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
and my son used to come back at 5, so I
Oh,
used to take
before
a
that,
nap.
yes.
And then when he came again, getting him ready for his after school activities and sending him off, I used to start working at 5:30, go on working till 8, 8:30 at least. My husband used to come back for dinner at 8, 8:30. So that's when I used to stop working and then
Okay.
go to bed at like 9 o'clock and get up at 1:30 again.
So the whole of December must have gone like that,
Yeah, most of
and
December.
few days of January also.
The quilt was ready on, from my end, it was ready on 6th of January.
Okay. Then it
And
went in
then,
for quilting.
yes, I took it. I took the quilt to Pune with me, and
Acha.
I went to Manisha, and Manisha did a fabulous job with the
Yeah.
quilting. And she also took a lot of care of me when I was there for an entire week. I was in Pune.
Oh.
And I used to go to her studio every morning. I need not have gone, but I used to go there and she used to take care of me. Like, Shruti, you
Hmm.
rest, I'll work on this. And I was
So
so
sweet.
exhausted by that time
I'm
that I
sure.
needed that pampering. So Kausalya was there, Shraddha was there, Manisha was there. All of these
Okay.
were there to take care of me at that time.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Was a beautiful thing. I have personally seen it, and I have a picture of you and me in front of that
Yeah.
quilt. Maybe I'll
And
put
I
it up for the podcast for viewers to see. It's a beautiful piece that you put together.
I'm just, sad that it's sitting in my cupboard in a bag. I want to display it somewhere, but because it's of the size, I'm
Mhm.
not able to display it anywhere right now. And I haven't actually actively looked for a buyer, or, I haven't even thought it through ki kya karna hai. But now I'm like, this is not why I made it.
Yeah.
So looking for places where people want to display it. I'm open to sending it to them where they could display it for a short period of time, for a longer period of time also. So that
Okay.
is also something that I'm planning on working on. Finding a place to, because I didn't make the quilt to keep it in the cupboard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That was,
definitely a piece to be shown off.
yeah.
Yes.
So that is something I have on my 2025 list of things to do. Like
Yeah.
find a permanent home if possible for the quilt where it will be displayed.
Yeah. So if at all any listener is interested or knows somebody who may want to take it up, please get in touch with Shruti. It's a beautiful piece of art, one of a kind, I would say. It's really one of a kind.
Thank you.
Yeah. So coming to our next question is, um, what is your best memory till now? If you take up quilting and then your mindfulness journey, meditation journey, if you have to pick that one aha moment and your best part in the journey so far, what would it be, Shruti?
I feel like the people are the biggest part of, like, the best part of whatever I've done till now. People is something I connect with a lot, and I find it very easy to talk to people. I find it very easy to connect with people, and I love doing that. So that is the one thing that has been my favorite moment. Like all the people I've met. Today morning, I got a message from my friend in US, Emily Lang. She's like my BFF on the other side of the world, and it's been 10 years since we met in person for the first
Oh
time.
my God,
We have
10
been
years.
friends for 15 years. So we were friends for 5 years before we met in person for the
Hmm.
first. Quilting is how we knew each other. And
Mm-hmm.
we met at the first QuiltCon in 2015 for the first time.
Hmm.
So it's our 10th-year anniversary of meeting in person now. So it's an amazing journey that has brought so many people to me, and I've got an opportunity to meet people whom I would have never got an opportunity, like people like Jackie Gehring. I still remember I went to QuiltCon for the first time. I entered the volunteer room at 8 o'clock in the morning. Jackie Gehring was the chairman, president of the Modern Quilt Guild. She got up from her seat and she came and gave me a hug and saying, I was looking
Wow.
forward to meet you.
Oh my
So
God.
this is something that I can never get over. The
Yeah.
open heart with which people whom I absolutely did not know welcomed me into their life, into their homes, and became a part of my life. That is
Yeah.
that is simply amazing. I have a WhatsApp group called the Sui Dhaga Gang.
Sweet.
It is
Okay.
filled with people who I met through quilting, and those have
Mhm.
been like my go-to gang of girls for anything that I needed.
Okay.
Has been an absolutely amazing journey, and so always say people are like the best part of quilting for me. There is no incident as such, but the people I met through quilting, people like Vatsala, people
Yeah.
like you, people like
Thank you.
Roshni, so many people I've met through quilting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bilkis, and then so many. If I
Yeah.
start naming them, I'm sure to leave out. So I'm not going to name people.
Yeah. Yes, yes, I completely understand. So I was actually anticipating an answer saying that maybe the Shivaji Rajya Abhishek quilt was my best part of the journey. But people, when you say, completely takes you to another track. You're
Yeah.
actually cherishing the people you met.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is something I'll always cherish.
Yeah, yeah, really, Shruti. That's very nice. So, last, we are coming to the end of our discussion. Very a simple question to you. I ask because few years back you painted an entire wall in your house with a Mario Miranda
Yes.
graphic, and
Yes.
that again took me back, saying that what is she not capable of? And as I see, you are transforming yourself, like you just also said, that when you make a video visual, I'm sure
Hmm.
you would have to even learn the new softwares and the new techniques. So I see you evolving and putting art in all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So what would you tell the audience on how to bring art into their day to day life?
Stop being scared of art. It's nothing that you cannot do. Like I said earlier, that art is absolutely everywhere.
Hmm,
There is no place around you जहाँ पे art नहीं है.
hmm,
Everything is an art. You know, composing a thali with whatever you have cooked is art,
hmm.
right? Even cooking is like the highest art because that is something I'm. You wanted to know ये कुछ what I cannot do. Cooking delicious meals is what I cannot do.
Okay, but there was also a Facebook post also on of yours saying that you were trying some Diwali delicacies,
Yeah,
trying
I
your hand on cooking.
once
Yeah.
in a while I can cook, not
Okay.
every day. Everyday cooking is not my forte at all.
Hmm.
Diwali, you just have to do it once a year. I'm comfortable with that. That too in limited quantities. So I'm comfortable with that. But everyday cooking, people depending on me,
Yeah, yeah,
and the taste of your food reflects a lot on the mood of people around you. I don't
yeah.
want that responsibility.
Okay. So you're saying art is all around us. We
Art
just
is
have
all
to
around.
recognize it.
Yeah, and just do things that you love and
Hmm,
be present when you're doing that
hmm,
rather than don't think about what do I cook when you're, you know, tending to your garden.
hmm.
And don't think
Yeah,
about your work related stuff when you're cooking. And that is what we end up doing a lot of times. And that's why when you're doing something, you're not present over there. You are
yeah.
somewhere else. Your
Hmm,
mind is somewhere else. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why we don't enjoy things.
hmm.
Art, art is what is art? Doing things that you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
It's not about what you create. It's about the
Hmm,
journey. It's not about the destination. So I
hmm.
still have this one quilt, I call it rhythm.
Okay.
I i always say that that quilt will always be a work in progress. It has hand stitches on it, and the thought behind it is that I used to play music
Hmm,
and I used to stitch to the beat of that music. So it could be anything. I've listened classical music, I've listened to Western pop music, I've listened to Indian pop music, I've listened to item numbers while I was making that quilt. The whole idea was that I will only stitch to the beat.
okay, so when you say that, let's say if it is a fast song, would your stitches be denser and closer? And if it is
Yes.
slow, would it
Yeah.
is that
I
okay?
will make more intricate design then. So
Okay.
you know the seeds thing, so where you don't have to think, just take the needle up, put it down, take it up, put it down, irrespective of the direction that it's going in.
Huh.
That would something I would do on a fast number. But then I would do crosses or I would do the knots.
Huh,
I
French
don't
knot.
even know the terminology, I
Huh.
just do so the French knots or some decorative stitches if I'm listening to something more soulful.
Oh,
So that is how you bring art, by being present and doing things that give you joy. In the end, that is what matters, to be very honest. Like, you
yeah.
will have money, you will get fame, you will get everything that you want. Joy is something that you have to find.
Hmm.
No one else can give it to you.
Yeah.
Fame, somebody else will give you. Money, somebody else will give you. Joy is something that no one else can give you, and you have to find pockets of joy. One
Yeah.
thing I tell you, like throughout my journey, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. But
Hmm.
then,
Hmm.
if I think at the end of the day, I have always been happy.
Wow. Hmm.
And that is very essential, is what I feel, like prioritize your life. What is important for you? Now
Yeah.
I feel that I was not present when my son was growing up.
Yeah. They
Looking
grow
back,
up so
I feel,
soon. Yes.
so I feel like I missed out on a lot of things. I
Hmm.
wasn't there for him at
Hmm.
that time. And that is the regret that I have because I was chasing my dreams and very material dreams. It was all commercial. I
Yeah.
wanted fame. Like I had started running behind that. And that is
Hmm.
why I
Hmm.
stopped it, to be honest. Okay, this is not why I started it.
Hmm.
This is what I'm now doing. And I don't want to do that. And it's not
Yeah.
bringing joy into my life. And joy is something I have to find my own joy. And
Yeah.
that's art comes in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very brave of you, Shruti. I mean, to be able to say stop when you know really want to stop. Like you just have not said stop and continued still doing it. Like you have said stop and you have stuck to it. So it's
Yeah.
very brave.
Thank you. But that is something, like I said, okay, for me,
Yeah.
that was very important. And
Yeah.
this is a line that I think my husband's grandfather used to say, you should know where to stop.
Hmm.
And a lot of
Yes.
times, and in little things also, you know, people drink, you should know where to stop.
Yeah.
You,
Even while eating, they say, no,
yeah,
hari hachabu in
yeah,
Japanese, they say, eat 80% of your hunger,
yeah,
not, don't reach 100.
yeah. So you should
Yeah.
know where to stop.
Yeah.
That is the most essential thing, is what I feel.
Yeah.
And it is a recent realization, okay? Like 5, 10 years back, I was not aware of it. I felt I was unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything is resonating with my brain also. I feel that. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Shruti, for doing this. And I'm also again going to go back to 2019 when I met you for that India International Quilt Festival, and you were, I think, one of the judges for the
Yes.
process. And I had also participated, put in my entry, and I came out of the lift wanting to ask you what mistake did I make or some critique about my work. But even before I said anything, you said, do you want a hug? And you actually spread your arms and you gave me a hug. So that warmth and love, I have carried on with you in my mind. So it's an honor for me that you are here for the podcast, Shruti. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me because it felt so good. You know,
Mm,
I've always admired you, Vishakha. From the day I met you, I saw in you what I had in me when I was there in my
mm,
journey. And I will always look at you with that, I always look at you like that. And I'm
mhm.
always looking at, okay, what is she going to do next? Because I
Yeah,
used to be very excited about what next, what next, what next. Now I'm
yeah.
not. Maybe I'm just getting old or something. But I realized I sound a lot like old people when I'm talking.
Yeah.
But I feel that it's more about maturity than about
Mm,
age and
yeah.
just knowing what you want from your life. If
Mm-hmm.
there is no harm in chasing dreams, if that is what brings joy to you.
Yeah, yeah,
But knowing, okay, what do I really want to do? And it could change, you know, it doesn't have to be permanent.
yeah.
Whatever you're doing, chasing that doesn't have to be permanent. You can just say, okay, I wanted to chase that. I found joy in that earlier. Now
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So I don't want to continue doing that anymore.
Yeah,
And it's okay to do that, you know. So
yeah.
I feel like that is the reason I can talk about things like an old person while being young.
Yeah, I think in our minds we are not old at all. I still feel 18 in my mind.
I too will never feel old.
Yeah. On that note, to younger audience as well as senior audience, thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you, Shruti.
Thank you, Vishakha.